dude. I call him a cool dude because he's very, very cool in demeanor in general, in my personal opinion, until I see him get pissed off. But anyway, really cool dude in the Colosseum today, man. I've admired this man for a very long time. And as always, I start every episode, if you want to call it an episode, or I call it a conversation, with the story. So, Mr. Joe Sullivan. All right. I need to have like a little air applause going on right now.
Yeah. What's up, Perseus? Thank you for having me.
Do the name ring bells? I think a lot of people have heard your name, even if they don't lift. You're in a lot of places. All right. You're in a lot of places because, you know, you're very opinionated. You're very honest. You're badass as a lifter, probably number one. And you've been around for a long time. All right. So I'm going to tell a story about how I first encountered Mr. Joe Sullivan. At the time, I was not even powerlifting. It would have had to have been 2000 and when did you have the incident with the bar bending on your back?
2018.
Or it had to be 2017.
I'm super interested in this story because, like, for everybody listening, like, you hit me up, and I don't know this story. You're like, I got something to say, and I'm like, all right, cool.
I hope it's not one of those womp. But to me, this is my first time meeting you, right? So, or shall I say, encountering you. So 2017, it would have had to have been. It was my first time at the Arnold. I was like a fish out of water, dude. I'd gone to the Olympia and just caught the bug. I want to be in the fitness game. I want to be around the cool people. I want to be around the meatheads. I want to have those conversations you shouldn't talk about. I like that atmosphere. And so a few months roll around, it's time for the Arnold. Now I live, for you guys who don't know, down in Birmingham, Alabama. Drive to the Arnold is roughly 8-9 hours. It's a long fucking trip. All right. So I hop my ass in my truck and I take off to Columbus, Ohio by myself. I had nobody with me, knew nobody in Columbus, Ohio, except for her auntie who couldn't give a fuck about a gym, and her husband. All right. So I'm there by myself. I get there late that night and I just Google gym near me because I want to I watch YouTube every day. I watch Instagram every day and I see these open lifts, all the cool ass shit going on. I'm going to be there. Right. At the time, I'm not nearly as big as I am. I'm not even powerlifting. And my real focus was wanting to be a cool, ripped up, bodybuilder type dude. A gym comes up that I'm close to. I stop by Denny's what's the, was it not Denny's? What's the thing they have up in Columbus? The Jack Russell, what is it?
What are you talking about, man?
There's this breakfast spot. I'm trying to tell a story about how I got to meet you that night. So
Perkins, IHOP, Denny's?
IHOP. It may have been IHOP.
Okay.
Maybe IHOP.
I was just like, what are you? Yeah.
So I get to Columbus. It's like 9:00 at night. I find an IHOP real quick. I Google where I can go to a gym and work out. I want to go get some pictures with some cool people. I walk in the gym. It's full of people. I know nobody in the gym. Everyone's like on the cameras. Everybody's getting videos. Everybody's taking pictures. This one guy walks in with his gym bag by himself. He's about 5 foot. I don't know what he is. Stocky as shit. Goes to a squat rack all by himself. Pays no one in the whole fucking gym any attention. Loads his rack plate by plate. Does his whole workout quietly, but yet impressively. And then walked the fuck out. And everybody was like, that's him. That's that guy. I didn't know who you were. And it was Joe Sullivan. Didn't say a word to anybody. Everybody knew him. Everyone was afraid to say anything to him. He came in and bust a fucking workout out that I now probably know is probably a prep workout because I now powerlift because I remember how you kind of did it. You came to hit your fucking prep workout and walked out in the middle of a fucking open gym, like, Arnold open gym lift type bullshit. And then I finally met you later on and met you. You were like super cool. You embraced me, been a bro ever since. And here we are now, Mr. Joe Sullivan.
Hey, thank you, man. That's a super funny story. Like, it's not a funny story, but it's just interesting for me to like put myself back in that situation because like that was when I was still working at the hospital. Mm-hmm. And I probably like walked in with like I had either changed at home or I probably still had like a gray button down on. Yeah. Yep. And I like walked in with a gym bag and just did my thing. And the whole time I was probably like, I fucking hate the Arnold. I hate the fact that everybody's in here. It was probably after like a 12-hour work day because you said it was like 9:00 at night.
Yep.
Back then I trained like super fucking late and I was just like, I just want to get my shit done and I need to leave. I need to eat. I need to go to bed. So that's just funy. Like
that's exactly how you looked.
Yeah. I had no idea that you were even there.
Dude, I was nobody then, bro. Yeah, I had like 500 followers. I was like, I was nobody.
Well, compared, I mean, I like shit. I feel like I was nobody back then because I I was just me, like I'm just paying member at a gym, and I got off work, and I'm like, I just got to get it done. I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny, man.
So
Probably
Joe,
training
man.
for shit. That was well, no, wait, no, I'm not done with the story because I'm like,
Okay.
I'm thinking that was because that was like the Arnold's the first weekend of March. That was probably in the middle of fucking prep for the Kern in 2017 when I got second place and whatever.
Probably
So, like,
was, yeah. Probably was, bro.
that was that timeline. Interesting, cool, fun. Those were some horrible spot sessions.
So that's how I learned of Joe Sullivan. And then a few months later, he goes viral for the squat video with the bar bending over his back. Nearly everyone's seen it. If you have not seen it, just Google Joe Sullivan bending bar and you'll see it. It's nuts. So Joe, man, where are you from? I think you're in Vegas now, right?
Yeah, I live in Las Vegas. Me and Brianni moved out here actually like probably exactly a year ago, almost exactly a year ago as of right now. I love Vegas, love being out here. But I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I was born in Flint, raised in Flint, went to school in Flint, and I graduated went to Flint Powers Catholic high school. And I was super lucky because I actually had a club powerlifting program. So I was like introduced to the sport at a really, really young age, which is why I've been doing this for like, I've literally been competing over half my life now. Cause I started when I was 13 years old. And I just kind of like never stopped. I wasn't near as serious as I was, as I am now. Back then I was like the kid that would lift for 6 months, then play video games and do drugs and fuck off for 6 months and then lift again for 6 months, that type of shit. But then I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I went to school in Cleveland, Ohio, was there for 4 years. And then I moved to Columbus, Ohio and stayed there for, I think 7 years. And now I'm in Vegas. So
sweet.
I was mostly Midwest stuff, but now Southwest desert guy. And I love it out here, but
yeah,
I do miss, I remember the Midwest fondly sometimes. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think about Cleveland, I think about Vegas. Now, no, it's a funny thing. I actually like Cleveland. Some people hear me say that and say, "Dude, what the fuck?" Cleveland's actually. I have a little family there, but I like the energy of Cleveland. But maybe it's because I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, too. It is somewhat, of course, from accents and all that jazz. It's about the same speed of a city.
I can get behind that. It's like there's something about, for me, there's something about cities where it's like that sense of camaraderie, like no matter who you are, like if you're a Clevelander, like you're from Cleveland, like everybody's got like one another's back, and it's like we're all kind of like, especially with Cleveland, it's like gray and like the Browns suck, and it's like the Winters suck, and we're all kind of like the whole misery loves company thing.
Yeah,
but it kind of forces people to grow together a little bit more. And I just think it's cool. Like it's that, not the friendly vibe, but it's like everybody's on the same level vibe.
Yeah. So you say you introduced to the sport early. So I mean, you've been competing, and I guess lifting since you were very young. But at what point were you like, you know what? I'm pretty fucking badass at this thing, and I can do something different than just be an everyday lifter. Like, what did something ever click for you? Where you just like, did you start just kicking people's ass in competitions and like, I'm better than everybody, or do you think it was just more mental? You just knew you wanted it more than everybody else wanted.
So I've told this story before, but it's still worth repeating for anybody that hasn't heard it. But it was kind of like I stayed natural, and I competed in the USAPL on the tested side of things up until 2014. But then in 2000, I can't remember if it was 2014 or 2015, but one like that, whenever I made the jump, before I made the jump, I went to the Arnold. And talking about the Arnold, I went to the Arnold, I saw the animal cage, and I was like, I had just competed at USAPL Raw Nationals, and I took like, I think it was second place or third place behind Johnny Candido and someone else in the 181 class. Then I go to the Arnold, and I go to the animal cage, and I see Dan Green, Ben Seath, Cade Weber, Jay Nera, fucking Hawthorne, Richard Hawthorne. I saw all these dudes, and I'm like, these guys are fucking badasses. Like, holy shit, this is crazy. But then I had this moment where like I had either it was either a switch flipping in my head or like a light bulb moment where I was like I was still doing the fanboy shit where I was like I want to get a photo with these guys, I want to like say hey, like do the fucking arm up, the thumbs up, the point, the bullshit thing everybody fucking does. But I like did this and I like literally like put my hand on like Jesse Norris, like put my hand on his shoulder and like on his back. I'm like, nice meeting you, man, whatever. And I just had this moment where I was like, wait a minute, like these guys are just guys. They're just people. Like they're just some dudes in fucking yellow t-shirts lifting weights. And I'm like, if they can do this, I can do this too, right? Like I should be able to do this. Like, and it was just this weird like moment where it was like I met these guys and they went from being these people that I saw on YouTube, and I mean Instagram wasn't even a big deal back then. But they went from they went from being like the guys that I watched on Animal Underground on YouTube and like the people that I talked about on the bodybuilding.com forums to just people that I fucking met. And I was like, they're like I was like it was like the two sides of the same coin thing, because I was like they're not fucking special, but they are special. But because they're not fucking special but they're still doing special shit, it's like that means that I'm not special but I can do that shit too. Shouldn't I be able to? And then I was like fuck yeah, I can. And then I just kept fucking trying and I made the jump to the other side of the equation because that's what they had all done. And I was like, well, I need to do what they are doing to get to where they're at. And I just kept going. And I was like, I'm not going to stop until I'm hanging out with those guys and on that same tier. And and that's where we're at. So
yeah.
It's
crazy because when I think about powerlifting, that was my first current, I think was 18. And I had some of the same, I guess, deal that you did by meeting these guys. It was really my first time being around anyone of any, I guess, caliber, if you want to call it. So I'm sitting there for my very first national meet in the back room with guys who I've admired and who I've followed and who I've tried to copy their style for like the last 2 or 3 years. And you realize we all had some of the same issues. You're nervous, I'm nervous. You know, you have a bad prep, I have a bad prep. And matter of fact, that same meet, one of the guys, I forget who it was, I think it may have been Larry. That's the meet that Larry was almost bummed out on. And I remember bumming out. And then I'm on the side and I remember watching him almost bum out. I was like, bum out. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of the same revelation you had. And I think one thing I have noticed about when I have talked to you, just kind of following your page, it's that real intense mental where you just kind of dial in. You want to be able to do some shit and do it. And that's really what really drew me to your page. And then you have a lot of knowledge you give out. You really care about the sport. You try to speak your mind. You try to push the sport forward. So what would it mean for you to see powerlifting get its just due in the public eye, like go mainstream, whatever? Like, what would that do for you? Would it do anything for you?
Well, I would be, I mean, on it, like, frankly, it would probably do really well, like really great things for me financially, because then I could fucking coach more people and just the audience would be larger and provide more knowledge and all that stuff. But like short of that, like, because that's not what anybody like, that's not what the goal should be. It would just fill me with like kind of a sense of pride and just kind of like excitement, because like I still do this because I love it, like I still do this stuff. I still train the way that I do. And I'm honestly like training the hardest I ever have, probably like right now, because I love it. It's because I love going to the gym and I love seeing what I'm capable of. And that's like one thing that's never changed since I like started doing the stuff in 2007. And it would just be really, really like kind of fulfilling to see powerlifting like take that next step to like a little, not a bit more professional, but just to continue its growth, because it's bigger than it ever has been. Like if you could see, like if you were in powerlifting in 2007 to like 2014, different worlds. 2014 to 2022, different worlds. The fact that there are professional powerlifting meets and like people are winning money, the fact that people have like turned social media presences into successful businesses that not only like make money, but they also like change people's lives. it's incredible. The whole thing is honestly like amazing in the sense that it's pushed not only like people's athletic achievements, but people's like own career and like mental and whatever level, like certain avenue of achievements along further than than I could ever imagine. Like
Yeah.
I look back and I don't regret going to college. I don't regret getting my education, but like the stuff that I do now, it's all experience.
Mhm.
It like I've literally managed to like make a business off of the knowledge that I provide for people and the things that I have done that have given me experience and knowledge that I can then pass on to other individuals.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, I always sense the passion whenever you're talking about something, how much it actually, means to you. So there's no secret. We have a lot of coaches. We have people in this sport who are in it for the money, like you said, which it shouldn't be. It should be for something totally different. How does it feel? How does it make you feel when you see people out there just taking athletes' money or not giving guys the attention that's necessary to really make them a better athlete? Someone who's as passionate as you are, I mean, do you take it personal when people just kind of say fuck it and just kind of wing it? Do you wish people would consider what they're doing to other people's body, what they're doing to other people's, careers? Like, how do you feel about that when you see people do that?
So you know how you said at the onset of the podcast, how I'm generally as intense as my presence is when I like do talk.
Hmm.
I am generally a calm, cool, and collected guy.
Hmm.
I am after working with Jake more and more and take it because Jake and I like co-coach like elite level athletes. Like we're like dual coaching a couple of people right now
Hmm.
that need a bit more, not need a bit of extra attention, but just like will do better with two brains over one, because Jake is very like biochemistry, very like um the scientific approach to things, and I'm very biomechanics, like what the person should actually be like, how they should be moving, how they should be feeling and whatnot, like more of like art of training, and his is more like practical application of like scientific shit and whatnot. It's cool and it works, but the problem with that is that I have over the past like probably like 9 months since being in Vegas, I've kind of been getting more and more. I've been doing more and more of this like consultation work and like talking to larger groups of individuals and
Hmm.
hearing about what things they are being recommended or given from powerlifting coaches, fitness generalized coaches, bodybuilding coaches, or whatever. And it honestly, like it fills me with like a certain level of like anger that I don't know I've ever experienced before,
Hmm.
because it's some of the stuff that people encourage other individuals to do is like downright despicable. And it's not only because like it's the whole like, oh, somebody who's like just taking money and like giving out cookie cutter plans,
Hmm.
that's just shitty. That's
Yeah.
like that's dumb. But a lot of that is like on the athlete to be like, hey, if you're unhappy with a service, you don't have to keep partaking in that service. You can move
Yeah.
on. You know, it's I realize that like it is the coach's fault that they are doing that, but there in terms of like it's the whole abundancy versus scarcity mindset. There's a lot of really great coaches out there that are putting stuff out every day. Like if you're unhappy with a service, be like, thank you, I'm sorry, goodbye, and seek out someone who can provide you with client testimonials, can provide you with a presence that you trust, that you click with, whatever. So that's like kind of on the client. And like the coach is shitty. Like we know the coach is shitty. But the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing that is upsetting is the issue of coaches being like irresponsible with their clients, lifters, whatever, their health, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because a lot of people will make recommendations off of, because like we're in a special niche like sport which uses PEDs, and it's like it's signed off on, like it's okay to,
Hmm.
it's something that most people do. But because of that, there are some individuals that like seek out guidance, and a lot of the times if you're paying a coach to coach you, of course it makes sense to ask that coach for their guidance and for their experience. But The issue with that is each individual's like biochemistry is different, each individual's experience is different, and what works for one person may not work for another person, and what the degree to which it doesn't work for one person may be vastly different than another person. Like I have it's just there's too much, I don't want to say like pseudoscience, but there's too much like anecdotal evidence used when it comes to drugs,
Mm-hmm.
when telling people like what to do with drugs. I wish there was a way. This is kind of why I'm thankful for Bree, because she encouraged me to be a bit more vocal about this over the past year, because I never was, because it was always taboo. And then she's like, why do you care? And I'm like, I guess I don't really know why I care. Like, fuck it. So I just started talking more and more about it. But like, I really wish there was more of a discussion on how to model your like PED use around like safer use and more
Mm-hmm.
like conservative use, as opposed to the classic as a power lifter. Okay, my first cycle was 500 tests. Next cycle, I'm going to do 750 and an oral. And then the next one, let's do this, let's do
Mm-hmm.
that, let's do. And it's always like if you press one button to open a door, but then the door after it, you have to keep this button pressed and then press
Mm-hmm.
another button. And then to go to the next button, or next door, you have to keep both of these buttons pressed. And then like, in theory, you may be able to unpress one of the buttons, but you're not sure, and you're scared if you do,
Mm-hmm.
the doors are going to close. So you're like, I may as well just leave these down and then press another
Yeah,
button.
you just pile it
And then,
on.
and then you start just adding shit and shit
Yeah.
and shit. And you get into instances where people can't can't handle it. You
Yeah.
know, I won't name names, but I had to tell a client of mine that his wife should not be taking an ECA stack on top of clenbuterol, on top of
Wow.
T3 going
Wow.
into her figure show. I had to tell someone that taking 800 milligrams of tren for 12 weeks was a bad idea after they were told to do that by their current coach. And
Yeah.
it's like, just hearing those stories, that's what infuriates me, because
Yeah.
that's the shit that will like, it's not gonna it's that's the shit won't kill people now, but when you get blood work done 2-3 years down the road and shit's all kinds of fucked up, you're not going to be like, oh damn, that one coach.
Nah.
You're just going to be like, oh fuck, I made these decisions, oh god. But it ultimately comes back to the fact that you asked questions and someone led you to answers that may not have been the most viable.
Mm-hmm. I like most people, my start was not as well put together. It was just somebody in the gym. Hey, you should whatever. All right, cool. Right.
And believe me, when I say this stuff, like, this is speaking from not like knowing what not to do now.
Yeah.
I have done really fucking irresponsible,
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So whenever I see new guys, young guys especially, they just want to run shit. I'm like, bro. And it's hard to get people to understand that, a lot of times less is more. And furthermore, what worked for Joe might not work for Perseus. What work, and I had somebody come to me one time before to offer to buy, what they knew a meet I competed in. I did very well in the meet. They're like, dude, like, bro, I'll buy your protocol. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And it's it's not that you don't want them to succeed. It's like, yeah, bro, like, you need to make sure you do it the right way. And you're right about the blood work, man. I'm amazed. It's funny when I meet guys and they bring the conversation up. They'll say, yeah, I'm doing XYZ 1, 2, 3. And I say, well, yeah, this might not be good because of that. And then you see that blank look in their eyes for a second, like, oh shit. But then they play it off they don't care. I'm sure I'll be fine. Then my next question is, well, when's the last time you had blood work? A few months ago. That's where your levels. And then the numbers they spit out don't make sense. I'm like, bro, come on, man. You got to do it the right way. And you're right. I think guys who are going to be coaches, you should be upfront and say, look, I don't know about this part of coaching, but I know about this part of coaching.
Yes. See, and dude, that is the best thing that someone can do. Like, I wish it was more common practice for someone to be like, hey, I don't know that answer. Like, I don't know what to recommend here, but I can send you to this person. And like, yeah, you might have to pay for an additional consultation fee or some shit like that. But there are dudes out there that will do like legitimate PED protocols.
Yep.
Like I learned a great deal. I know Jake has as well, from like Alex Keekle, Andy Triana, Broderick Chavez. Like these are all guys that have been doing like not just PED coaching, but like very PED oriented coaching as it comes to like practical application for a long time. You know, it's just there's egos in this, and it's like, well, if I'm being paid to coach this person, it's like I don't like fuck. I can't tell them that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
They're gonna think I'm stupid. Then I'm gonna lose money. You know, like I can't do that. But that's not how it works. You'd gain the respect of the client, and like ideally, and you'd keep them safer.
Yeah. I had some people who believe that athletes should never stick with the same coach forever. They feel like an athlete can benefit from different perspectives or different coaching styles. And I have some people that feel like the best way to grow is to get with someone who works well with you, so you guys can grow together. Do you think there's any truth to either one of those? Because I'm sure people they ask themselves the same question. Or do you think it's just a matter of perspective or whoever you are? Like, how does it work for you?
I think that would depend on the coach, because you just said it in the question itself. If you can grow together, if the coach is willing to like progress and change the way that they do things or modify or adapt or whatever, then absolutely. Like I think sticking with one person and going through that together can be incredible. You know, like it can put someone far beyond like what they normally would be able to reach if they stuck with one coach who was just doing the same protocol over and over, like was their variations of their certain protocol, or like switching year to year or whatever. But yeah, I think it would be dependent on like the coach should also be growing. But and this is kind of one of those questions you can't really answer, or it's not, there's a million different answers for it, because there's also value to like getting different perspectives too. Because like I have clients who will hit me up and be like, hey, is it okay if I go to this guy's seminar or whatever? And I'm like, that's fucking great. Like, go do that. Like, go learn shit, you know? And it's like, maybe not switching coaches, but like if someone wanted to like go to a bunch of different seminars, or like go buy like in an off season, buy a program or work with a person for a period of time and then come back to another, it's like, there's a lot of different options there. And it all comes back to like the best people are going to be the people that are willing to grow and adapt and like change their viewpoints and work with other viewpoints, not just like keep their blinders on and just keep going like this one way for forever.
Yeah. A little segue into what I want to touch on next, but it's a pretty important one for me as someone who suffers from anxiety and also some bouts of depression here and there. You've always been someone who obviously cared very much about your clients and their physical well-being, but I also see you talk a lot about mental health and mental wellness and relationships, how much that matters to people. You know, is there any reason why that matters so much to you? Because I started touching on it a little bit. I hadn't touched on it as much as I liked on my page, because I really want to be more educated on what I'm dealing with myself. But I can tell from listening to you that you educate yourself a lot about, you know, some of the issues that people have, or maybe how to deal with things. But I admire someone who can take down, like for me, myself, take my mask off and say, look, guys, I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. I go through things like everybody else does. Why do you think it matters so much for you to let people know it's okay to have issues? It's okay to work through things, and why these things up here matter so much?
Because I have a voice and people listen to it. And when I was at my worst, and like, because I tried to kill myself when I was 17, and I've talked about it before, but like I didn't have that perspective. I didn't have like, and believe, like I love my dad. I love my dad more than anything. Like my dad's my best friend, but my dad is like, I get my closed off emotionality from him. And it's like, that's something that I continually have to work on. Like I've been in therapy for fucking probably like 8 years straight now, pretty consistently. And it's like, I have to be very, very good at realizing that like, if I don't accept it, I will just shut off.
Yeah.
And it, because when I was 17, like he had kind of taught me like, hey, just fucking swallow it. Just like deal with it. You just got to deal with it, you know? And that was always what I tried to do. And it didn't work. you know, like I got to a point where I tried to blow my head off. And it's like, I really think that it's important for me to like talk and just offer my own perspective and like make, not like show people that I'm vulnerable or whatever, but just kind of like give people a sense that like this happens to everybody. It's not even good or bad. It's just a part of life,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like something that we all have to deal with at some point. And I have like what I don't know how many followers I have now, like 88, 80 something thousand, close to 90,000. Like if I can just get that discussion out
Yeah.
to those people, that's like who knows who they may pass it on to, you know, like it's valuable to be talked about because like somebody out there needs to hear it, you know, because I needed to hear it at some point in my life. And
Yeah.
it's worth talking about.
Yeah, very similar to what you just said about your father. My dad was the same way, and I've mentioned this in a few of my other episodes on the Colosseum. But I lost my mom when I was 4, so my dad raised me himself, and he's very, very stern. But I learned as I got older that he was just merely someone who had a very, I guess, tough upbringing himself, and was never afforded what I needed to be afforded, which I missed out because he didn't know how to transcend it. No, passed down to me was somewhere to be vulnerable, right, or to be able to not have to swallow every fucking thing. So I grew up very similar. And I realized when I got older how much it was affecting my personal relationships, my personal friendships, you know. And I know you mentioned Brie earlier, you always speak very highly of her. Anybody that follows your page can tell you guys are most definitely in love. And this is only me on the outside looking in, but I watched you. It seems like her being a part of your life has made you a better person. I'm sure you might say the same thing, and how important those relationships are. And if you don't know how to, like you said, open up and not how to swallow shit, you could have very well missed her. She could have walked right by you. You wouldn't know
Yep.
how to accept what she brings to you. What do you think about people who say, you know, in order to be great at this sport, you just got to be dialed in fucking right here with no distractions? There has to be balance, right?
I think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the dumbest shit out there. Like Bree and I actually had this discussion the other day. Like I think that's more detrimental than allowing some level of balance, because like I would rather have like a year of 80%
Hmm.
than 3 months of 100%. You
Yeah.
know, it's all about consistency. It's all about making it work in the long run, because that that's where the true like gains are made. You know,
Hmm.
like you're not going to be the best in the world by training 100% and shutting yourself off from the rest of your life
Yeah.
for 2 years. You're going to be the best in the world because you understand how to make your pursuit of being the best in the world work with your professional life, your emotional life, your home life, whatever. You know,
Hmm.
it's about being able to make it work, you know. And there's like if I wasn't able to do that, there's no way I would be in this sport as long as I have been,
Yeah.
because it's like I started in 2007. And believe me, there's moments where like I probably shouldn't, like I shouldn't have said yes to go hang out with my friends like 6 weeks out from a meet or something, because I like lost sleep and I had to adjust and whatever. But it's like, but that's the thing, there's always opportunity to adjust, there's always opportunity to adapt. And as someone who has like you met, it's interesting, I didn't know that about you and your dad and your mom.
Yeah.
But my like in like similarly, my mom was super sick, so she
Hmm.
was in the hospital. She's still alive, and she was basically saved her life by having a double kidney pancreas transplant.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Jeez.
she made it, she's all good. But like my dad pretty much raised me on his own also,
Hmm.
because like she was always in the hospital at the doctor's, like occupied. She's medically disabled now, so it's like she was always
Yeah.
just occupied. Like she wasn't couldn't really act as the mother figure, you know.
Yeah.
So super similar in that regard. And it's just it's like you have to understand that like life is fragile, and we only have a finite amount of time here. And there's two sides to that coin, because we only have a finite amount of time here. So we obviously we want to like pursue the things that we want to pursue with all of the strength that we can muster. But we also have to understand that like pursuing the things that's the destination. The whole like stoic philosophy thing, like the obstacle is the way, the journey is the important part, not the destination.
Yeah.
That's really the truth, as stupid as or as cliche as it is, because that's where you learn. That's where you can like take things and then give them to other people. You can impact not only your own life, but impact other people's lives. And the last thing you want to or the last thing that you want to have happen is to be so tied up into your goals and your aspirations and the things that you believe you should be able to do, that you actually miss out on life. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure you've experienced it, but like
Yeah.
we've all made those calls where it's like, okay, I have to do this because I'm dedicated, but then like you like have a loved one get upset at you, you like lose a girlfriend, or like start a fight or some shit, or like God forbid you, like a family member passes or a friend passes, and it's like, fuck, I wish I had like another chance to hang out with that person,
Yeah.
or I wish I had another moment to say hi, because that was kind of drilled into me. And this is it's not even a tangent, but it's just like as an aside. But I don't know. I've been around death a lot in my life for some reason. It's just kind of like I've had some close experiences with it. But like I got a tattoo when I was 16 that my dad signed off on, it says control the pace. It's an hourglass, because that's what my old wrestling coach always said. And it's a phrase that's always in my head, because it's like control the pace of the match. Like you set the energy, like you did, like you the whole be the thermostat in the room. If you want it hotter, you go
Yeah.
hot. If you want it colder, you go cold. If you want it fast, go fast. If you want it slow,
Yeah.
go slow. But it kind of circles back into like mortality, because one of the previous co-captain of the wrestling team, he ended up transferring high schools. His name was Tommy Smith. He was my best friend in high school, and he ended up going to a different school his senior year. And we had that year, we were like, oh, we're gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out. I miss you, man. Like gonna hang out. Just kept missing one another, and it's like, like we'll hang out. We'll get to it eventually, and we never did. And he died. He
Yeah.
had a sudden, one of those sudden cardiac, back in I like 2011 or something, when it was like, for some reason, a lot of athletes were just having like their hearts give out or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what the whole thing was, but he ended up passing away. And that's kind of been a thing in my head since then. And I've still managed to like go a little bit off on the balance scale to either side,
Yeah.
but it's something you always have to be aware of, because like if whoever's listening to this, I hope you understand that like we don't have an unlimited amount of time here, and neither does anyone else in your life.
Yeah.
So it's about figuring out how to like balance going after your goals and everything that you want to do selfishly, but also understanding that like, and also selfishly, like you only have a certain amount of time with people.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we talked a little bit off camera earlier about during the midst of the pandemic, I had time to sit down for a bit and appreciate a lot of things. A lot of things happened to me during the sit down at the pandemic, but one thing that happened, kind of similar to the story you just shared, with my goddaughter, her mom, within a matter of, I'll guess, 25 days, was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and was gone, right? And we were really close, really tight. And in the midst of me sitting down and taking time and not being able to train quite as much, because I ended up tearing my quad at one point. A lot of things is happening. It was like, I need a little more balance. And I realized I've been losing myself more than I realized, because I lost myself down this tunnel of just powerlifting, right? I came back now. And so it just feels, gave me a new appreciation, I think, for I don't want to say for life. That sounds so cliche, but I think just for the present. That's really what I want to say. But going back to what you're just saying, I want to ask you this question, because you're so self-aware and so into being able to appreciate life for what it is. How would you want Joe Sullivan to be remembered when he's all said and done?
How did you introduce me here, man?
Exactly right. Dude,
That's like I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be remembered as a pretty cool dude that just really gives a fuck about what he's doing and cares about people, you know, whichever avenue that takes, like whether it's coaching or mentorship or like fucking being an author. Like me and Jake are actually trying to like talk about authoring a book now, like doing this whole thing, like just leave some type of impact, you know, like I hate it. Believe I'm full of fucking cliches, man, but it's like I like leave a legacy, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing a hoodie and I don't even do you put the videos up too? I
Yeah.
honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so well I have the tattoos. I have live, learn, pass on, and then always on both arms. Like it's my fucking mottos, you know. It's like I stole one from Elite FTS and I just stole one from Harry Potter, I guess. But it's like just I'm here to leave shit behind, you know. Like I'm not here to like take in my life. Like obviously like I want to do the best I can and like have a happy life and love life and like kick ass and do all the things that I want to do. But I want to like the real thing to do is like leave an impact on people and like make them like remember you and like live, like you can continue to live through those other people, through the things that you taught them, through the things that you inspired them to do, through whatever, you know. So that's my goal, and I think I'm doing okay with it. So
Yeah, I think
I
you do
don't know,
pretty
we
good.
just got to keep making it happen.
I think, you know, essentially living the way you're living, I think it affords you the ability to be able to live forever. And like you said, live through other people, right? Why I was so determined to get you on, and a little bit of backstory on getting Joe on. I think we had scheduled this 2 or 3 times. Maybe we kept missing each other. Schedules got thrown off. I wanted to get him on because I'm a true believer, and I kind of close out with this one because I think you're fucking awesome, bro. I'm a true believer that we all have a few people that's come and gone in our life. We know them, don't really know them. We're not really friends with them. We just kind of maybe got acquainted with them, or maybe we just saw them from afar, but they kind of stick and they resonate with you. And so with you, I find myself, without calling your name, obviously, but I'll be in conversation with people maybe at work or maybe just in my personal life. And I might bring up something that you said on your page, or I'll tell people how I met you that first time in the gym, or how that whole thing transpired. You're just one of those people who just, I think you attach yourself to people whether you realize it or not. And I can definitely give you your flowers and say, I know you've helped me out a lot, bro. There were a few times, I guess I'm going to get a little deeper than I really wanted to in this, but there were a few times where I was dealing with something mentally, and like you just happened to post the right meme that day, right? You know, we exchange DMs every now and then, like the thumbs up or whatever shit.
Yeah.
And that's really why I wanted to have you on, bro, because you are a big part of why I wanted to start powerlifting. And there's been a few times where you just said the right thing on your page at the right time. So me being one of those 88,000 people you have, like I can definitely say you touched me. So I wanted to get you on, let you know that, or let everybody know that, bro. So
that's super cool. Like I really, like honestly, I really appreciate that. That's super fucking cool. And it goes back to like what you said. It's like, why do I talk about this stuff? And it's like that's right there, you know, like that's it. Cause I can say that same thing I can think of people that I've had the same experience with, you know, and it's not like me putting a meme up where it's like, fuck it, let's just keep going, or like life is suffering, but cool, we're in it together, like some stupid bullshit like that. It's nothing to me. It's literally just like, this is fucking stupid, you know. But like it could really hit somebody's heart out there. So
and that's why I try to be very conscious, man, of how I am when I encounter people. You know, there's never anyone who's ever put their fist out, so let's do a fist bump, and I didn't do it, because I know there's been people who I did that to. Tell you, so 2016 Olympia, I'm walking, maybe it's 16. Anyway, I'm walking on through the floor, and Jay Cutler's walking towards me. Right. I don't know Jay Cutler, obviously, right? I mean, it's fucking Jay Cutler. And before I could do it, he just raised his fist and gave me a fist bump. And bro, I was like, I feel like I bitched out a little bit. I was like, fuck, that was Jay Cutler. But I kept walking cool and shit. But that type of shit matters, bro. So I think you're very conscious of self. I think that's why you impact people the way you do, man. So
thank you, man.
Appreciate you for coming on, Joe. Anything you want to talk about before we get off?
No, I'd like, before we started recording, I was just like, I'll plug my shit at the end, but like, I'd like, That's not the important part here. Like, you all know who I fucking am. Like, if you don't, like, follow me on Instagram, and then you can get everything you need there. I fucking do the coaching, I do the consultation, I do club programming through Train Heroic, I do all this shit. Like, if you guys have any questions or need me for anything, like, my DMs are always open. I get slammed all the time, and sometimes I won't respond to somebody for like a month, but like, I do get back to everybody eventually. So yeah, it's like, I make myself very available on social media. So
Yep.
I'm Joe. What's up? I don't know.
And for everybody who doesn't know how to get in touch with Joe, he'll be in the caption, all of his information, all of his websites, the whole deal. I'll take care of all that for him. We saw Bree in the back a couple of times, so tell her peace. All right. Appreciate you for letting us borrow Joe for about an hour, man. So dude, thank you.
Here she's coming over.
All right, man. I appreciate you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.